Hey everyone, welcome back to Old Master Channel. Today we're diving deep into the mesmerizing world of Claude Monet, one of the greatest masters of Impressionism. Over the next 25 minutes, we'll explore 5 of his iconic paintings. The summer of 1875 in Argenteuil was unlike any other. The sun hovered high, scattering gold across the rippling river, and yet, within Claude Monet's heart, there was a storm. At that very moment, he lifted his brushes to capture not just a figure but an essence, the fleeting beauty of life itself. Few knew that behind the carefree image of a woman holding a parasol, there was a story of love, longing, and obsession that had consumed Monet for months. His wife, Camille, stood atop a small hill, her gown caught in the wind, her face both serene and distant. To the world, she was merely a figure in a garden. To Monet, she was everything. The painting's creation was frantic yet delicate. Monet worked outdoors, chasing the movement of light across the field, painting quickly before the shadows shifted. His hands were stained with a riot of greens, blues, and soft whites, each stroke capturing the very breath of the wind. He was obsessed with the sensation, the way sunlight fractured through the parasol, the fleeting flicker of her dress, the shimmer of wildflowers at her feet. He painted not in detail, but in feeling, letting color and light narrate a story that words could never contain. Monet's technique in this painting was revolutionary. The brushstrokes are loose, almost hurried, yet every sweep conveys depth and movement. He layered greens and yellows in the grass, juxtaposed them with the delicate pinks of Camille's dress, and allowed the sky to bleed into the scene with soft dabs of blue and white. The parasol itself is a triumph of Impressionism, an intricate dance of shadow and light, its translucent surface capturing both the sun's warmth and the day's fleeting breeze. The composition is deceptively simple, a mother and child in motion, yet it vibrates with energy, a momentary slice of life frozen on canvas. Historically, this was a time of transition for Monet and for France itself. The country was emerging from political upheaval, and society was shifting toward modernity. Monet, ever the observer, sought solace in nature and family, and this painting became an ode to personal freedom and intimate human experience. The spontaneity of the work mirrored the liberating ideals of the Impressionist movement, a rebellion against the strictures of academic painting, a bold embrace of light, color, and emotion. Symbolically, Woman with a Parasol speaks to both protection and transience. The parasol shields Camille from the sun, yet it also obscures her gaze, creating a sense of mystery and distance. The wind tugging at her dress suggests the ephemeral nature of beauty and time, while the open landscape hints at possibility, hope, and the endless flow of life. Monet's subtle use of perspective places the viewer slightly below Camille, enhancing the sense of awe and admiration, an intimate yet respectful glimpse into a cherished moment. At first, critics were divided. Some dismissed the work as unfinished, too spontaneous, lacking the rigor of classical art. Yet Monet persisted, convinced that true art lay in emotion and perception rather than meticulous detail. Over time, audiences came to revere the painting, recognizing its brilliance and capturing a living, breathing moment. Today it is celebrated not only for its technical mastery but for the tender story it encapsulates. A fleeting afternoon, a loving gaze, and a painter's unyielding devotion. As the light in Argenteuil fades and the wind dances through the grass, Camille's image endures, a whisper of a summer long past. Monet's brush has immortalized her, yet the painting remains alive, shimmering with the same energy and warmth that first inspired its creation. In every stroke, one can feel the heartbeat of the day, the soft caress of the wind, and the quiet devotion of an artist who chased the very essence of life until it became eternal. Impression Soleil Levant. The morning fog hung over the port of Le Havre like a whispered secret, softening the outlines of ships, smokestacks, and distant horizon. In 1872, Claude Monet stood on the quay with his easel precariously balanced, brush in hand, heart pounding with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Few realized that this seemingly ordinary sunrise would ignite a revolution in the art world, a movement that would forever change the way humans see light and color. Monet, ever obsessed with capturing fleeting moments, had been haunted by the idea of rendering not the solid forms of objects, but the ephemeral impressions of reality, the way sunlight trembles over water, the way mist absorbs and scatters color, the way the world seems to waver between dream and waking. The creation of Impression Soleil Levant was fraught with both practical and emotional challenges. The harbor was damp and cold, and the wooden planks of the dock groaned under his weight as he hurried to capture the changing light. Monet's hand moved frantically, compelled by the scene before him, but his mind wrestled with doubt. Would anyone understand what he was doing? Could brushstrokes, so loose and spontaneous, convey the vibrant energy of a morning mist, the glowing orb of the rising sun, the slow drift of ships tethered in the fog? He was both exhilarated and terrified, caught between his ambition and the relentless passage of time that threatened to steal the moment before it could be preserved. Technically, Monet abandoned the rigid, painstaking methods of academic painting. His strokes are rapid, almost sketch-like, yet they coalesce into a scene pulsing with life. The harbor's water is painted in layers of muted blues and grays, broken by the fiery orange of the sun reflecting upon the trembling surface. Each dab, each smear is calculated yet instinctive, a balance between control and surrender to the natural chaos of the scene. Monet's palette captures both the serenity and the instability of light, forcing the viewer to experience the sensory reality of the dawn. The fog itself becomes a character, obscuring and revealing, softening edges, creating depth and suggesting a world in flux. The social and historical context of this work deepens its meaning. France, still recovering from political turmoil and the upheaval of the Franco-Prussian War, was a nation grappling with transformation. Monet's harbor, quiet yet bustling with labor, reflects both the resilience of ordinary life and the fragile impermanence of human endeavors. The painting is not just a sunrise over Le Havre. It is a meditation on renewal, hope, and the subtle beauty that exists even amidst uncertainty. Symbolically, Soleil Levant is an exploration of perception itself. The term impression, later used to label an entire movement, Impressionism, captures Monet's core philosophy, that art is not a mirror of reality but a mirror of sensation. The rising sun suggests awakening, illumination, and possibility, while the indistinct ships represent the fleeting, elusive nature of existence. The scene invites viewers to immerse themselves, to feel the cool morning mist on their skin, to hear the distant calls of harbor workers, to sense the quiet hum of life's continuous rhythm. Reception of the painting was initially harsh. Critics mocked Monet's sketch-like strokes, calling the work unfinished, dismissing it as careless and amateurish. Yet, some perceptive viewers recognized a daring new approach to seeing, a bold departure from the rigid, formulaic traditions of the Salon. Over time, the painting became emblematic of a revolution in vision, an anthem of modern art that would inspire generations of artists to embrace light, color, and subjective experience over meticulous realism. As the mist lifts and the sun ascends, Monet's brushwork crystallizes the moment into eternity. One can almost hear the whisper of the tide, the creak of ships' masts, the soft clatter of oars. Each stroke carries the artist's heartbeat, his awe, his restless pursuit of beauty that exists only for an instant. Soleil Levant is more than a painting. It is an invitation to witness the world not as it is, but as it is felt, transient, luminous, and alive with possibility. In its glow, we sense the birth of a movement, the triumph of vision over convention, and the enduring passion of a man who chased the dawn until it became immortal. Houses of Parliament. The Thames lay shrouded in a silver mist, its waters reflecting the melancholy of London's overcast skies. In 1900, Claude Monet arrived in the city, driven by a restless desire to capture the soul of an ever-changing metropolis. Few knew that behind his calm demeanor was an obsessive quest, to portray not buildings, but the elusive, transient qualities of light and atmosphere that dance around them. The Houses of Parliament, standing solemnly along the riverbank, became his obsession. To Monet, these Gothic spires were more than architecture. They were sentinels of history, bathed in sunlight and fog, whispering tales of power, legacy, and time itself. Monet set up his easel along the river's edge, his coat flapping in the cold wind, brushes poised, and eyes scanning the kaleidoscope of reflections on the Thames. Each morning the fog offered a new scene, each afternoon the sun refracted through smog, clouds, and smoke, creating a spectacle of subtle color. Monet's work was a battle against impermanence. He chased light across water and stone with feverish intensity, painting dozens of studies in a single day, capturing the fleeting hues before they vanished. He was a man caught between patience and urgency, meticulous observation and instinctive expression, knowing that the city's ephemeral beauty would soon dissolve into another gray, rainy afternoon. Technically, Monet's approach was revolutionary. His brush strokes are fluid, layered, and almost musical in rhythm, conveying the shimmering interplay of fog, sun, and river. Pale yellows and muted oranges seep into the gray-blue haze, while the Gothic silhouette of the Parliament stands dark and resolute against the ethereal light. The water reflects the scene in delicate ripples, bending reality into abstraction, and the sky above pulses with the fragile energy of fleeting illumination. Monet's genius lies in capturing both the solidity of stone and the mercurial nature of atmosphere simultaneously, a dance of permanence and evanescence that few artists dared attempt. The historical context deepens the painting's resonance. London, at the turn of the century, was a city of innovation and industrial smog, of grandeur and grit. The fog itself was a product of progress, but also a metaphor for uncertainty and change. Monet's fascination with the Houses of Parliament was intertwined with his sensitivity to this tension, the steadfastness of history standing firm amidst the mutable, industrial present. Through the haze, he conveyed both admiration and subtle melancholy, painting not only a cityscape but the emotions it evoked, a reflection of a world in flux and a mind seeking beauty in transience. Symbolically, the series resonates with dualities. The Parliament embodies authority, tradition, and permanence, while the shifting fog and light suggest impermanence, subjectivity, and the unstoppable passage of time. The painting invites viewers to meditate on the fragile interplay between human endeavor and the natural, or atmospheric forces beyond control. Every shimmer on the Thames, every halo of sunlight breaking through the fog, becomes a metaphor for fleeting moments of clarity amidst life's uncertainty. Initially, critics were puzzled. Monet's works were deemed unconventional, too abstract, too impressionistic to capture the grandeur of Parliament. Yet, his vision slowly gained recognition, and the series is now celebrated as one of the defining achievements of Impressionism, demonstrating the artist's unparalleled ability to transform reality into poetry. His paintings invite viewers to experience London not just as it looked, but as it felt, moody, ephemeral, luminous, alive. As evening descends over the Thames, the mist swirls around the spires, painting the scene with melancholy beauty. Monet's brush has immortalized a moment of temporal perfection, capturing the tension between the eternal and the ephemeral. Houses of Parliament is more than architecture rendered in color. It is a meditation on light, time, and perception, a luminous testament to an artist who dedicated his life to seeing the world as an ever-changing, breathing entity. In its reflections, one feels the heartbeat of the city, the whisper of the river, and the enduring brilliance of a man who chased light until it became immortal. Waterloo Bridge, London. The fog of London hung heavy over the Thames, muting colors and swallowing sounds. In 1901, Claude Monet arrived once again, captivated by the interplay of light and mist that cloaked the city. But this time, it was Waterloo Bridge that seized his imagination. The bridge stretched across the river like a pale, spectral ribbon, obscured and revealed in constant flux by the morning haze. Monet, obsessed with capturing the ephemeral, saw not stone and steel, but the living, breathing essence of atmosphere, the way fog transforms architecture into poetry. Few understood his vision then. To paint a bridge was simple, yet to capture its soul required a mind attuned to the invisible rhythms of light. Monet worked tirelessly, often arriving before dawn, standing on the riverbank as the fog shifted like a silent tide. He painted dozens of canvases in quick succession, chasing the changing reflections on water, the subtle shifts of sky and river, the soft glow of gas lamps diffused in mist. His brushes moved feverishly, yet with delicate precision, translating the intangible into color, rhythm, and motion. Each day was a battle against time, against the impermanence of light, against the fleeting moments that could never be repeated. Monet's emotional state was a mixture of exhilaration and obsession. He was consumed by the necessity to capture a single, perfect impression before it disappeared into London's eternal haze. Technically, the paintings of Waterloo Bridge showcase Monet's genius in rendering atmosphere. He used layers of muted grays, blues, and lavender to evoke the mist, punctuated by subtle pinks and oranges of early morning sunlight breaking through fog. The bridge itself is barely defined, a spectral presence suspended between water and sky, its solidity suggested rather than imposed. Reflections ripple across the Thames, soft and distorted, creating an illusion of movement that feels almost alive. Monet's strokes are confident, expressive, yet tender, each conveying the impermanence of the scene and the emotional resonance of the moment. The historical context deepens the narrative. London at the turn of the 20th century was a city of industry, fog, and rapid change. The river was the artery of commerce, its banks alive with movement, yet the fog gave it a mysterious, almost ethereal quality. Monet's fascination with Waterloo Bridge reflected his broader desire to capture the intersection of human endeavor and nature's unpredictable beauty. He painted not only the cityscape but also the transient emotions it evoked, a meditation on uncertainty, progress, and the fleeting nature of existence. Symbolically, the bridge represents connection and transition, both literal and metaphorical. It links banks, but it also links moments in time, inviting reflection on impermanence and perception. The mist obscures details, suggesting that clarity is rare and understanding is partial. Monet's work challenges viewers to see beyond physical structures, to experience the world as it feels, shifting, transient, and luminous. Each canvas in the series becomes a meditation on perception itself, an invitation to witness light and fog as living forces. Reception was mixed at first. Critics were puzzled by the abstraction, the lack of clear architectural detail, the emphasis on light and atmosphere rather than form. But collectors and later audiences recognized the brilliance of Monet's vision. The Waterloo Bridge series stands today as a testament to Impressionism's power to transform perception, revealing the beauty and emotion of ordinary urban scenes through the lens of a visionary. As dawn deepens over the Thames, fog lifting and sunlight scattering across the rippling water, Monet's brush immortalizes a fleeting moment of ethereal grace. The bridge, half hidden, half revealed, becomes a symbol of transition and impermanence, a portal into the living beauty of light and mist. Waterloo Bridge, London, is not merely a cityscape, it is the soul of a fleeting morning, captured by a man who devoted his life to chasing the ephemeral and transforming it into eternal art. In the haze and reflections, one feels the heartbeat of the city, the quiet majesty of fog, and the unwavering devotion of an artist who sought to paint life itself. Water Lilies' evening effect. The garden pond at Giverny shimmered under the soft glow of twilight, the surface a mirror of fading light and whispered secrets. Claude Monet, now in his 60s, returned once again to his beloved water lilies, seeking to capture not merely their form, but their essence, the fragile, transient beauty that dances between day and night, between reflection and reality. In 1908, as the sun dipped and shadows lengthened, Monet found himself entranced by the pond's transformation. The world seemed to hold its breath, colors deepened, water shimmered, and time itself slowed. For Monet, every evening was a fleeting symphony of light, a final chance to seize a moment before it dissolved into memory. The creation of Water Lilies' evening effect was a meditation in motion. Monet would sit for hours on the wooden walkway by the pond, brush in hand, heart and mind attuned to the subtle changes of light. He battled the inevitable passage of time, knowing that the magic of the moment might vanish in minutes. His emotional state was a mixture of serenity, obsession, and almost desperate longing, a desire to render the ineffable, the delicate tension between the water's calm and the reflected sky's turbulence. Every stroke, every dab of paint was a dialogue with nature, a conversation about impermanence, beauty, and the human need to preserve fleeting moments. Technically, the painting is a marvel of Impressionist innovation. Monet layered subtle washes of violet, deep indigo, and soft rose to capture the gentle shift from sunset to evening. Water lilies float delicately, their forms almost melting into the pond's mirrored surface, while brushstrokes ripple outward like whispers of wind. The reflection of trees and sky shimmers in soft abstraction, bending reality into poetry. Monet's technique blurs boundaries, blending water, sky, and vegetation into a fluid, luminous whole. It is a visual meditation, a sensory immersion, as if the viewer could step into the scene and feel the cool evening air, hear the soft lap of water, smell the faint fragrance of flowers and damp earth. The historical and personal context adds layers to the work. Monet had endured decades of criticism, personal loss, and relentless struggle to pursue his vision. Yet, in the Garden of Giverny, he found solace and inspiration. The Water Lilies series represents not only artistic mastery but also a profound intimacy with life itself. At this point in his career, Monet was less concerned with recognition and more with the pure act of seeing, of capturing the world as it appeared in transient, vibrating light. The evening effect embodies reflection, both literal and metaphorical, as Monet contemplates the passage of time, mortality, and the beauty that exists even in fleeting moments. Symbolically, the pond is a microcosm of life, its surface reflecting the sky, its lilies floating as ephemeral moments of joy, beauty, and peace. The interplay of light and water suggests the fragile nature of perception and memory, inviting the viewer to consider how fleeting impressions shape our understanding of the world. Monet's brush transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, the simple pond into a stage where color, light, and emotion converge. When first shown, reactions were mixed. Some were captivated by the atmospheric subtlety, while others found the abstraction challenging. Yet, Monet's vision eventually triumphed, influencing generations of artists and solidifying his place as a master of light and perception. The evening effects, in particular, are celebrated for their lyrical intimacy and the hypnotic tranquility they evoke. As dusk deepens and shadows stretch over the pond, Monet's brush captures the delicate tension of evening, the moment between day and night, life and reflection, reality and dream. Water Lilies' evening effect is not merely a painting. It is a meditation, a whispered poem in color and light, an invitation to pause, breathe and immerse oneself in the ephemeral beauty of the world. In its stillness, one feels the artist's heartbeat, the gentle sway of lilies, and the eternal rhythm of nature, Monet's vision made immortal. That's a glimpse into the life and work of this amazing artist. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe and hit the bell. Tell us in the comments which painting moved you most, and remember, art is not just seen, it's felt.